Hi, Virgo. Welcome to your February 2016 General Tarotscope. It's Rena here. So, as the month begins, there is some energy that is really about the sixth house, which is your natural house. And that has to do with work, the daily grind, your health, and things like that, your schedule. So, this is something that is very familiar to you. It's right up your alley. And with the sun there, it can kind of call attention to what you want to tweak in terms of your diet or things like that. And because there was a Mercury retrograde very briefly in this house, and then it went back into your fifth house in the sign of Capricorn, and you had to relive issues surrounding some kind of maybe relationship or something to do with your children or an art project that you had to rethink, it's going to be going direct. It's going to be going back into your sixth house, this Mercury, at mid month out of its shadow, and that'll be nice. And this will be very good for diets and things like this because not only will it be on your mind, but it's very good for enacting, especially when there's a new moon there on the 8th of February. So that's awesome. And because that's your natural house, it adds just a little bit of significance. On the 18th or the 19th, you have the sun going into Pisces, and that's your seventh house of long term relationships, including marriage. So the sun goes there, and then you have this parade of other influences, including Venus right away. And this happens on the 17th. So it's actually a couple of days before the sun that Venus is going into this house. This is a very nice, harmonious energy for the seventh house. So, any kind of ruffled feathers that some of you may be having within a marriage, maybe that smooths out, or it can be a very good time to get engaged or to get married, to make a commitment to somebody. So, that's really wonderful as well. On the 22nd, we have a full moon in your own sign. And so this is really nice in terms of making you front and center. People notice you for some reason. And depending upon what you do, this can be very good for career, for instance. So that's good as well. You get some kind of recognition. All month long, you have Mars in your third house of communications, of siblings, so if you are involved with the internet, you might be particularly active during February. Also, if you have siblings, there might be even some contention among them. There might be extra emphasis or activity with your siblings. Now, interestingly, you have this long term transit until 2017 of Saturn in Sagittarius in your fourth house of home and family. In March, Mars will enter this house, and there could be a little bit of conflict within your family of origin, or at least extra activity there. And so, with this transit of Mars in the third, it might start out with something related to your siblings and end up connected to your entire family. So hopefully it isn't anything negative, but it might mean that they are featured more in your life at the present time. And with Saturn in that house until next year, sometime, 2017, you may have more responsibilities with your parents. Maybe you're taking care of them. Maybe you're arguing with your siblings about who is going to spend time taking care of mom and or dad. So that could be what's going on as well. So, Virgo, the card I picked for you right now is the Seven of Wands. And so this is all about standing your ground and proving your worth. And I always think of in a company when there is a chopping block situation and a person has to prove that they are the one that is worth sparing. So it might be that sort of situation, which nowadays is pretty common. It could also be a situation where you feel like that is related to public speaking or something along those lines, maybe some kind of symposiums, because the card that is showing why you are in this position is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune can just mean a sudden turn of good luck. It's in the upright position, so it can mean something like that. And of course, you have Jupiter in your own sign until the next fall. So that in itself is a great guardian angel to have. But in terms of proving yourself, it might mean that, let's say you're given a promotion and it wasn't something that you expected to get, it was a lucky break. Well, now you are forced to kind of prove your mettle or test. Maybe you're going to have your mettle tested and you have to make sure that you can do so. So it might be a period of competition within a workplace and something of that sort. But it does seem like it's a very good period of time if active in any case. And the higher message from the universe is the 10 of Swords, which is that card that we don't like because it's associated with defeat. Now, generally speaking, I got like a very similar vibe from, I believe it was Aquarius, I believe so, where they had some situation in the workplace and they had to work very hard in order to be the employee that is spared. And so this is kind of a similar thing. And yet they got the death card as the higher message. And this is kind of like a similar type of a message, which is saying that even if you try to beat your brains out to prove your worth, there may be an inevitability in the finality of a situation. And so, it's actually a beautiful thing because it's obviously not meant to be if that's the case. And you shouldn't have to go around proving that you're okay or that you're competent in order to keep your job. That should be a given when you're hired. But those kinds of tactics are used by companies to keep people in the slave mentality where they have to constantly prove themselves, to prove that they're worthy, to eat and have a roof over their heads. And it's really a form of brainwashing. And if you don't allow yourself to fall into that, you can feel a lot freer because it's like, hey, I actually work for myself. I'm just lending out my labor to you, but I can take it elsewhere. And I can even work for myself if I want to. And the more that you cultivate this attitude of being indifferent to the ways that people try to condition you and make you think that they're doing you a favor by having you work for them, instead of it being mutually beneficial, the better off I personally think you would be. And it's not a form of arrogance, it's just a knowing that the universe has your back. And the advice is the Nine of Pentacles, which is about somebody who is enjoying their home, is self-sufficient. And this is a card of not necessarily overexerting yourself, of kind of enjoying the luxuries that you have that include home life. Working all the time, you can't even enjoy your home and your possessions. So that's the irony of things, is that you have to have enough time to be able to do that. And maybe if there is instability in the workplace and for some reason you're in between jobs, enjoy that downtime. Don't use that time to be in a negative state of mind, because it's all about pampering yourself and appreciating what you have and luxuriating in what you have. What crosses you is the Moon card, and this can be a card of deception, of the unknown. So whether it relates to the work situation where there is stuff going on behind the scenes that you don't know, and maybe people are lying to your face and telling you things to keep you there until they don't need you anymore, or if this has to do with a personal relationship. Interestingly, when we have that full moon in your own sign, it will be at a time, as it always is, where there's a polarity between the sun in the opposite signs. So the sun will be in the seventh house of relationships when you have a full moon in your own sign in February. So there may be some kind of revelations that take place during this time regarding a marriage or long-term relationship. And this might play into the moon card. Maybe that's when everything is revealed. And so we shall see, right? And the outcome is the star card. So that's a wonderful outcome. It just means that whatever happens, I think that you end February with a sense of hope. And that's really the best that you can do besides getting tangible results for whatever it is that you want. Having that expectancy makes attracting good things to you easier. And I just wanted to give you a heads up. In March, on the 8th, there will be a total solar eclipse, which is a new moon on steroids in the sign of Pisces, which is your seventh house. So if you have been thinking about committed relationships and we're wondering what is going to be coming down the pike, it may be during that second week in March that something dramatic develops. And so right now, have faith in things going in your favor. And I believe it will make it more likely to manifest. So, Virgo, I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like something personalized where I take your natal charts and incorporate it into the reading, please click on the link below and take care, you guys. Bye.